My overall impression was that it was a superb and spectacular trip that was well organized and planned out, and it was done very efficiently. And the other part that was really good was the camaraderie that we had with all the other photographers and the leaders.
For somebody who's looking for a unique photographic experience, I think this trip is a terrific option.
Overall, the trip was very good. I am coming from a perspective where I've done many of these kind of workshops, and this was probably the most non-tourist workshop that I've ever done. It was really geared for photography.
This was an unusual trip, having done a number of trips with you, and this was probably a lot of surprises in this trip, and it was probably the best trip I've been on.
I was intrigued by the markets, the people in the markets, their friendliness, they're willing to engage with total strangers, with their facial expressions, with their smiles, and with their nonverbal interactions with us was a terrific highlight. I was not expecting people to be as friendly and as engaging as they were.
I think there were a few highlights that were very spectacular. I really loved being on the lake, photographing the fishermen with their nets. I loved the fishing villages on stilts.
Remarkable photographic opportunity was sitting in one of the fishing boats. These are narrow skiffs. The fishermen stand precariously on the tail end, managing their nets and navigating their boat with a single oar that they direct with one foot while they balance on the other foot. Quite a remarkable feat in itself. And the chance to shoot images while on that boat by yourself with the fishermen was truly unique, and I think all of us would agree that it produced some really exciting images.
And one of the most spectacular things was going inside some of the temples and shooting in the dim light with some of the subjects. The monks with the smoking, incense burning, backlit rays were unexpected, and again, just something that you really are happy to bring home.
One of the highlights for me was the filming of the monks inside the temple with the light shafts coming down upon the monks. That was really cool. Another highlight was the amount of people photography that I got to do. I absolutely love doing people photography. And I probably have a couple of hundred what I would consider to be keeper shots that are not typical tourist shots, but are people in action, and that to me was something that I absolutely loved out of this trip.
I think the one thing that may have risen to the top was working with in the temple with the old man and the monks and the lighting situation. That was a real highlight for me.
And some of the highlights that just stand out. One was a morning ride in a hot air balloon in Bagan that floated us over the amazing countryside in that area, where we could see fields and farmers working those fields, and a major river off to the side, some of the many temples poking up above the landscape, and it was just breathtaking and most enjoyable.
There were so many highlights in this trip. Every day, from morning to evening, we went from one to another. Total surprises what we were going to get into, didn't understand it from the beginning, but just from the monks to the people, the friendliness, the extraordinary job that AP did as a guide, getting us in and taking care of it. It was just amazing.
Two other highlights I'd mention. One was an unexpected one, and that was the opportunity to go out into a rice field and watch them threshing rice, taking pictures of them out in the field. A truly unique experience. The rural village up on the hillside, where we saw people in a native situation, and again, the people were friendly, willing to interact with outsiders in a way that I didn't expect.
I think the major learning opportunities were not photographic, but just learning a new culture, which really fascinated me. And I just can't, I felt sad and remorse and of thinking about leaving. It was such a beautiful country with beautiful people.
The lodging was really good. Generally, Les's workshops have a higher degree of quality associated with it, both from the lodging, the transportation in very large buses, that we all had our own row, place for our equipment. If somebody is looking for a photography trip that is more touristy oriented, this is not for them. This is truly for a photographer with a very intensive photographic element. We were out in the field every day at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, getting back late in the evening, and just really becoming completely absorbed in photography.
It was a very unique trip in that, in the variety of locations we went to, the variety of the people we saw, the situations we saw.
I would strongly recommend this trip for other photographers. I've been on a number of trips with US, and this is more opportunities in this trip than I've had in any trip I've ever been.
If nobody's been to Southeast Asia, this is a perfect place to come and experience the life and cultures of the people that are so different from ours. The organization, having a professional photographer with us who is from the country and has been to places and can take us to places that otherwise we would not even know about. And again, it's the group was a very cohesive group.
Overall, I enjoyed this trip immensely. I've been on several other trips organized by Les Picker, and this trip just had such a remarkable variety of photographic opportunity. And we were in the company of two very accomplished photographers in Les Picker and AP So, who's a local native of Myanmar, and his photography is phenomenal, and he just took us to some amazing locations where we could get shots, create images that we never ever could have done on our own.
We got along just wonderful, meaning that we would share images among each other. If we got an aha moment, we would share that, and everybody would be able to be welcome to try and capture that image. The fun of our dinners and buying the wine and sharing the wine and just the general camaraderie was really good. Great group of guys.